Hi, Suzanne. How are you?
I'm all right. Janice, how are you?
Great. Thanks for joining me today.
Sure.
I'm really happy to have you here. So today, my name is Janice Marks, and I'm the creator of Page a Day Math. And
Mhm.
I am interviewing adults all over the country and asking about them about their math moments or math memories that they have as a child and how they had and how they impacted their life or their career choices, hobby choices. So today I have Suzanne Panferov Reese with me, and she currently works at the University of Arizona. And she's going to tell us a little bit about that and her earliest memories of math and the impact that they had on her. So I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you. So, yes, I work in the College of Humanities. I'm in the Department of Applied and Public Humanities, but I come out of a foreign and second language teaching background, and we often tend to say that those who go into language teaching are those who ran away from math. And to some degree, I think that might be true because there's a comfort level with one kind of thought and way of working. And so, but I think for me, it does very much relate to kind of early experiences with subjects in school. And I always loved languages and reading. But math was one when you asked me to talk about a math memory, and I thought, oh yeah, I did some crazy accelerated math program in high school, um, which was great, but then had no math once I got to college until I was getting certified as a teacher doing my doctorates, which is odd. But and when I think back to math memories, the one that I think about the most is I think I would have been maybe in fourth or fifth grade and learning to do math facts.
Okay. Wow.
And that was something that I think I felt an anxiety around. And we talk a lot about anxiety with math learning. And somehow that wasn't noticed at all. And
we all have phones in our house.
That's our life.
Going off whenever they want to.
So, and I remember we had these worksheet type things. We would take a notebook, regular piece of paper, and we had these things like of cardstock that had all kinds of math problems on them to practice math facts. And you were to lay it on the piece of paper, and then they had these cut out little squares that you were to write the answers into, right? And then, which was brilliant for teaching, you could flip it over and the answers would be, and so the students could self-correct on the spot, which I think was probably really handy. And it led to, kind of volume of work of practicing now that I look at it. But what I remember was just a really agonizing moment for me. And the teacher said, okay, we're going to go through and do the odd problems today. Meaning do problem number 1, number 3, number 5, number 7. I didn't understand that. And with my math anxiety, took that to be, oh, only do the ones where the answer is an odd number.
Okay. Wow.
And so I started, and there were like 100 of these on a page. And I started going through and solving every one, trying to figure out which ones I would report back had an odd number answer. And my classmates were zooming through because they were just doing 50 problems.
Right.
I was like, and it just increased, I had good grades and everything, but the anxiety with that, I think, was really prevalent because I didn't stop and say, what do you mean by doing the odd problems?
Sure.
And I just kind of knuckled down and kept going and was nowhere near done when everybody else was like, time's up.
Well, it's just amazing that you remember that, Do you remember that feeling that you had?
I think I felt pretty helpless, kind of lost. Like I knew my math facts, but I didn't understand the instructions around them. And I was a super shy kid, so there was no way I was going to ask for that assistance. And it was it was basically instructions that really got me off course.
Do you,
And
how do you think that had an impact on, like, that moment actually had an impact on everything that happened after that had to do with math? Or do you think that was just one small moment in
I think
time, or
it
was maybe the
it
beginning
had
of something, or?
some, the beginning of some kind of heightened anxiety then around math or nervousness. I moved when I was probably in 7th grade then, so a couple of years later, across the country, totally new school and everything. And I went into this kind of advanced math track, and it was, I think there was a missed, maybe some fundamentals that were missed somewhere too, which made me even more anxious. But again, I did okay, but I think I probably worked harder than I needed to, because I don't think there was the recycling of math facts and fundamentals that really were needed, and we just sped right through. And then my high school, my calculus teacher and I would come to kind of a political debate at the time, because I had, in the meantime, I had also, summer between my junior and senior year of high school, I had traveled to the Soviet Union for 3 weeks, like a youth peace trip and everything. And he relentlessly teased me about this. And I came in one day and pulled out one of those little, 6-inch tall Soviet flag and put it on my desk. And he responded, took a shoe off of his foot and pounded on the podium.
Oh my gosh.
It was, and he never took math again.
I'm sure that
was more anxiety, when I had a really, really tall friend, I would sit behind her in class. I mean, so
do you think that your children are having a different experience with math? Or do you think that because of your experience with math, you were able to provide some more support for them at some point? Or do you think that math was really between your children and the teacher? Like, how do you think they've been affected?
I remember with my firstborn, I was very concerned with her. She was coming out of a multilingual teaching environment and was having trouble with the full words for numbers in English. And I remember really going through and practicing flashcards with her and doing all that. And but she overcame that, and I really tried not to invoke any of my own anxiety. And she has just graduated from high school now, having done the whatever comes after AP calculus and all of those high levels. And she's looking at a math minor at the university, which, so was not my track.
Yeah.
So she's very comfortable. Now, whether she can balance the checkbook, that's another question.
Keep our fingers.
But, yeah. So, but, multivariate calculus, she's fine. So I think that was fine. But I think, a lot of it was, except for the very basics, I left it really between the teacher and her. And now, kind of a slightly different experience with my second born, where she was in 3rd grade when we closed schools for COVID. And so she had all this 3rd grade math homework that was sent home with a very thick textbook. And so I hired the older daughter to tutor her to do her math.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, how the whole thing affects. Well, it's not just math. I mean, it's really everything, because the kids are not going to school for any of their subjects, but math and reading, are 2 pretty important subjects. We'll see how that impacts them.
Yeah, I think.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how everybody's story has an impact on them really long term. When I was, the reason why I got into this was because I was teaching, and I saw, 160 children every single day, and, half really enjoyed math and half really struggled. And the parent, it was really interesting speaking with many, many parents and children about math and what was going on with them in the classroom, and then hearing their parents' story. And I started to see like really every parent has some kind of a math story, for better for worse, that really had an influence on their decisions, impacted their hobbies, their career choices, and was also, I could see, was also having an impact on their children too. And that's why that's why I created Page a Day Math, was just so that that first experience with math at a very early age of 3 to 5, 3 to 7, was a really positive one and fun one. So, and as a reader, all these picture books, I'm sure you read a lot to your children when you go to the library. The books are beautiful. There's beautiful illustrations. The kids love opening them, and they open them even when they can't read. But there really isn't that there's nothing like that for math. It kind of gets straight into like drilling and exercises and stuff like that. So anyway,
The language filled, we call it drill and kill.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true. When it's not fun, really, it's so important that kids are enjoying what they're doing.
Yes.
In every topic. If they enjoy it, it makes a huge difference. So we all know that as adults, that we want to do things that we enjoy and prefer not to do things that we don't. So anyway, I want to thank you for joining me today and sharing your math stories. That was great and really insightful. And I hope that other parents will see this and will get something out of it, and maybe it'll have some type of an impact on how they relay math to their kids, or how they support their kids in math. So I wish you a great rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.